गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणीशानाय धीमहि गुणाधीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्ठाय धीमहि
प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिर्यस्य परः महेश्वरः
गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणीशानाय धीमहि गुणाधीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Swamini Ji, welcome to Jakarta once again. For those who have not met her, there's a little write-up about our dear Swamini Ji. A psychologist by profession turned sannyasin, Hindu monk, storyteller, author, and teacher, she left the world of the inner workings of the mind for that beyond the mind. Of Indian origin, born in South Africa, raised in Australia, she currently resides in Hong Kong and is a globe-trotter of the Chinmaya mission, spreading the vision and sharing the knowledge of Vedanta. Inspired by Swami Chinmayananda's teachings, she understood this ancient wisdom's adaptability to solve modern problems. She adopted a life of monastic living and service to the vision of her guru and scriptures. True to the mission's motto, she aims to reach people of all walks of life. Embracing modern technology, she has a bite-sized podcast called Thinking About It and an Instagram account full of quotes. You can also listen to her podcasts on iTunes, apple.com, etc., etc. Her ability to break down the highest truth in a language that we can understand and relate to without sacrificing its profoundness is what draws people. She nurtures the mind by providing food for thought to contemplate on. Her chosen medium may be words, but it is the wisdom, warmth, and gentle nature behind them that leaves you in awe and wanting more. Thank you. Hari Om.
सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Yapi Yat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Krishna. I was thinking today as I was reflecting on this topic that maybe I should have done another topic because most of you all have found your path. I don't think you're still finding your paths. Already fairly established also. Anyway, I thought it's a good opportunity for me to reflect on the Gita in a slightly different way. So, we'll be looking at how we use the verses of the Gita. The mic, because I keep turning my head, right? I'm very troublesome. The mic is, my voice is short, soft, and then I turn, and then terrible. Okay. Had to choose which verses to talk on. So the very first thing that Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita comes in chapter 2, not in chapter 1. And usually it's not spoken about so much. It's when Arjuna is literally whining. The word, we don't use this word often for Arjuna, but he was whining. I don't want to do this. This is so very hard. And when Arjuna was in this mood of, we get into that mood. Well, I definitely get into that mood. I don't want to. Like, this challenge comes to us, and literally it's like that child having a tantrum. And each one of us have this inner child in us, and then it's regress into this not only stubbornness, but this incredible sense of stuck. And this is where we use this word, stuck. And the thing that makes us stuck is not what's happening outside in the world. The thing that makes us stuck is the emotion that we are feeling. Because, even literally, when COVID happened and we were all in our homes, isolated, stuck physically, our reactions to it, emotionally and mentally, was so different. And with things like dance groups. Now imagine dance groups, all of them in their own homes, they could feel so stuck. They can't do anything, yet they found a way to make collages, and this one does this step and this one does steps, and they make a video and then they posted it. Orchestras, singers, bands, we got, right? All of us got the videos. Because that's all we were doing, forwarding each other videos, because we were all sitting at home. We saw how people came together and were still able to do things. I remember one of the cutest ones I got was somebody went on a date by sitting on their balcony and the other person sat on their balcony, but they could see each other on FaceTime. We were stuck physically, we were stuck globally in this environment, but each one did whatever was their mood of mind. Some people reacted by feeling stuck. Some people reacted by opportunity to do things different way. Some people actually took it as a challenge. And there were certain businesses that thrived. Yeah. Zoom definitely thrived. When we get into this mood in our mind of one, life is so unfair. Now this is the truth. Because actually it's not unfair, but we go through things at different times. Everyone will have a difficult period, but everyone's not having the difficult period at the same time. So when I'm going through my difficult period and somebody else is having a ball, I think this is unfair. When I'm going through my illness and somebody else is very young and, mobile and flexible and full of, I'm thinking this is unfair. So the thing that makes us feel stuck is when we get into this mood of, this is unfair. And when we're comparing, that it will only come when we're comparing. So-and-so has, I don't have. Yeah. And so when we feel a sense of disempowerment because we don't have something, we make ourselves feel stuck. Yeah. And we may not have it. That may be true. But it still need not lead to the feeling of stuck. We may not have as much money. We may not have any. And we need not be stuck. Yeah. We may not have a relationship. And we need not be stuck. We've seen so many videos. People who don't have limbs still doing incredible things. People who don't have sight accomplishing so much. I don't have can make us feel so disadvantaged. But it need not. And then sometimes, what don't I have? Something like car, which I don't even need to survive. Promotion. Blue tick on Instagram. I don't have it. We feel so deprived or disadvantaged, or we feel life is so unfair. And we create this feeling within ourselves of stuck. The second thing that creates the feeling of stuck in us is, I don't want to. Something has to get done. Some job has to get done. Sometimes we have Balvihar camp and there's a mess. And I'll tell somebody, clean it. They look at me like, no. But it has to get cleaned. No. Because they feel this incredible repulsion to clean. It's true, actually. A lot of us would. Until you do it and it's no big deal. But the first time you have to clean somebody else's mess, I remember once somebody had come to the ashram and the kids had never washed dishes in their life and they were already in the 20s. And I said, today's your initiation. You're going to do the dishes. Never mind mantra initiation, never mind Bhagavad Gita initiation. He almost threw up because they were dirty dishes. He couldn't. We can feel so much because of the feeling of, I don't want to. And those of us who have been doing dishes for years, what are you throwing up about? What's the big fuss here? You eat 3 times a day, dishes have to be done 3 times a day, what's this? But just that feeling, it's not the job of doing dishes, it's that feeling of, I don't want to. And then we have a disagreement with somebody. And then make up. I don't want to. Now instead of saying I don't want to, we say I can't. I can't is not true. What's true is I don't want to. Right? And there'll be some kind of dislike. Like with the dishes, dislike of dirt. Normal dislike, I'm not saying it's... and with the person also, some kind of dislike. We don't like their voice, we don't like the way they talk, we don't like the way they conduct themselves. We don't like that they always have to win, they always have to say the last word. We don't like that they take away all my praise. Something we don't like. They're constantly finding faults in me. Why should anyone find faults in me? We don't like. Everyone else praises me, this one only will find fault in me. So then work with this person? No. Sometimes we don't know them even very well. Work with this person? No. Because they're not organized. They'll make me do more than what I want to do. Something, some dislike will make us, I don't want to. Otherwise, I don't want to won't feature. Or just laziness. Of course, laziness is such a big thing. We think it's a small thing, but it's such a big thing. So, the very first verse that Krishna says is in chapter 2, where he says, I didn't have stickies. I should have put stickies everywhere. It's verse number 2. Chapter 2, verse number 2. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Kutastvam Kasmalamidam. Shri Krishna is saying, from where has this dirt come? Many of you are familiar with the Gita, many of you are familiar with this verse. Vishame samupashtitam. You know, this sense of dejection that you are expressing here, because Arjuna is whining. Anarya ajastvam. The way you are acting is un-Aryan-like and not befitting for somebody who is going to get the world of heaven. Asvargyam. Akirti. Kirti is fame, and the way you are acting is not worthy of fame. Fame, not as in famous as in, Michael Jackson famous, just as in we know this person to be a good character. That kirti means that. To know someone to be a good character. Arjuna. So, today's topic is find your path. And as I mentioned, I'm going to go through the verses of the Gita in a slightly different way. Everything very, very important that Sri Krishna says is us finding our path. So the first thing he says is dirt. This dirt has come into your mind, making you act in a way that is not befitting of an Aryan. The name Aryan has become so popular, right? Or is it out of fashion already now? My generation, it was. Every kid that was born was Arya and Aryan. But now too many in the world. I think they've stopped naming the kids Aryan. Meaning of the word is? Oh, I thought everybody knew. So popular. Noble. The word Aryan means noble, cultured, educated. What does an educated person act like? Think about it. What does a noble person act like? What is somebody who is cultured acts like? Not the way Arjuna's acting. How is Arjuna acting? He's complaining. He's whining. And very importantly, which I haven't yet mentioned, he is trying to run away. Or in today modern language, he's trying to shirk his responsibilities. Now, in Arjuna's case, I don't want to be too harsh because it genuinely is a very difficult scenario for him. So, it's not like we are fighting a battle with our grandfathers, where we have to shoot arrows into them. Arjuna's case is really genuinely very difficult. But still, shirk responsibilities. Because if you read the Mahabharata war, Arjuna has profusely promised Sri Krishna that he will fight. He has made all sorts of vows to Yudhishthira that I will make sure you are the king. And so here he is having claimed that he's going to do this job. Yeah. It's not like it landed on him. He put his hand up for it. He signed up for it. Not only did he sign up for it, he made so many promises that he would deliver it. To Yudhishthira, to Krishna. Both people who he loves dearly. And now, suddenly he's saying, I don't want to. This is really, really hard. Now this is really, really hard bit we will all agree with. I don't want to, un-Aryan-like. Learned people don't do this. Don't do what? Shirk responsibilities. Especially when we've signed up for it. Even if we haven't signed up for it. Wise people, cultured people, noble people do not shirk responsibilities. Yeah. If it has to be done, it has to be done. Yeah. And the excuse, it's hard, is not an excuse. It's a statement of fact. It is hard and it has to be done. Like so many things in our life, right? It is hard and it has to be done. Okay, so shirking responsibility would be the worst of the un-Aryan-like behavior. Then do responsibility but complain the whole time. Not very Aryan-like. This is most of us, right? When we moved as a family to Australia, this was one of the qualities I really noticed in Australia. They love to complain. It's almost cultural. You bond over complaining. It's very much the cultural psyche. And you have to be so conscious not to give in to it. Every city has a certain general agreement of how we talk to each other. Unfortunately, in Asia, not so much the culture, yet we still do it. Still complain. What's the favorite thing to complain about in Jakarta? Traffic. I heard one more since I've been here. Help us know, pollution. It becomes our favorite thing to complain about. Un-Aryan-like. To complain. But these are more general complaints about what it is that I have to do. And this complaining will only come because of the feeling of, I don't want to, and it's not fair. This is a beautiful thing to think about. When I'm finding my path, what it is that I want to do, whatever it is that I'm doing, and if I'm thinking it's not unfair, why? Why do I feel it's unfair? Do we all get the same amount of praise? And when we get our fair share of it, do we think it's unfair? No, right? And if we don't get praised, we think it's unfair. Do we need to get it? Don't just answer no. Sometimes you might actually really, really want it. But do you need to get it? So if I really, really want it and I don't get it, what do I do? Complain. What can I do that's Aryan-like? Not just finding my path, guys. I'm finding my path. Not falling into un-Aryan-like behavior. And the next word in the Gita is asvargyam. It's not befitting of giving us heaven. And something actually more than un-Aryan-like that's not befitting of getting us into heaven is such a beautiful word. Because where's heaven? We already know this, right? We already know heaven is a place that after we die we go to. But heaven is as much here on earth. Because when we die, how does it work? The body falls, our mind is still there, and our mind gravitates towards the vibration of whatever we are thinking. So where will we go? Whatever we're thinking about. And if what we're thinking about is loving and kind and peaceful, then that's where the mind will go, and then that's heaven. And if what we're thinking about is bitterness and guilt and regret and anger and hatred, that's where the mind will go, and that's hell. There's no physical place, it's just our mind going, and our mind doesn't need a physical place, because even now, my mind can go to London, it can go to Tokyo, it can go to heaven, it can go to hell. Right here, sitting in a mandir, I can be in hell. Sitting in, a very dark, dreary place with lots of mosquitoes, I can be in heaven. Little bit hard with the mosquitoes, but I can be. So physically, hell and heaven don't get defined. It's wherever the mind is. And asvargyam, when we act in a way that is unbecoming of deserving heaven. Now let's go back to Arjuna. What was he doing? Running away. We can never get into heaven by running away. Just never. There's that, when I tell the Balvihar kids this story, there's that story in the Ramayana between Bali and Sugriv. Sugriv and Bali were brothers, they had this fight. And then Bali was determined to get vengeance on Sugriv because he thought Sugriv had neglected him. He was stuck in a cave, he was fighting a demon. Sugriv waited for 3 whole days, he didn't come out. Sugriv thought, okay, battle has been lost, and Sugriv went along in his merry way. But he didn't do it out of, I don't care for my brother. He genuinely thought, brother has lost the fight. When Bali comes out, he's so angry. You just left me there. You wanted to be the king, you wanted all the attention. And so he's running after Sugriv. So Bali is running after Sugriv. And it is said that he's always 1 hand's length away. Like he's just, and Sugriv runs, and Sugriv runs. And the symbolism, the story is very cute in the Bal Vihar, because Sugriv literally goes to every corner of the globe, and Bali follows him in every corner of the globe until he finds solace in Rishimukha Parvat, where the rishis are doing satsang. He finds solace, and Bali can't enter there. Sugriv represents our actions. Bali represents our reaction, the consequences coming to that action. And both exist in our mind. And so one is running and the other is always this far away. You can't escape. The only time you escape is in satsang. But the minute you leave satsang, he's there, waiting. All your actions chasing, going wherever you're going. Because where is it happening? Right here in our mind. How can we ever reach heaven if we're trying to run away from our own mind? Every consequence of what we are facing is here only. Our regret, our stress, our anger, our guilt, our excitement, our gratitude. Of course, those positive ones take us to heaven. But if we're running away, we can't reach it, right? Heaven is when the mind's at peace, it's still. It's content. It's forgiving. It's brave. It's compassionate. Then we're in heaven. When we behave in a way where we're shirking away our responsibilities and we're running away from challenges and we don't want to deal with difficulties, we can't reach heaven. We can't reach heaven here. We can't reach heaven afterwards. Because what we do here will determine what happens afterwards. And complaining. How can we be in heaven if we're complaining, and if we're whinging, and if we're thinking it's not fair? And we definitely can't be in heaven if we're thinking, I don't want to. What's keeping us out of heaven? One thought. One thought is keeping us out of heaven. I don't want to. Literally, you drop that thought, heaven's gates open. Whining, 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 literally drop the thought of it's unfair and it's not such a bad thing to do, it's fine. It's fine that I have to do this. Just one thought you drop, hell's gone, heaven's here. Here. Now. Asvargyam. Such a lovely word. Yeah. So when I say anarya, be noble, be cultured, you're thinking so much work. Why do I have to be all this cultured and all this noble? And why can't he do it for me? Can't he just bless? But when I say heaven, suddenly we all very interested. Yeah, I want. Do I want to work? No, no, no. Do I want heaven? Yes, yes, yes. And it's the exact same thing. Anarya is the exact same thing as Asvargyam. Exact same thought, exact same action. Our perception. Work hard, I don't want to. Enjoy, I want to. Can they exist apart from each other? Cannot. What's our path? What takes us to heaven? When? Now. Sometimes we're so busy trying to create afterwards. I'll do lots of charity now, I'll get to heaven. Do lots of seva now, get to heaven. Do 100 Hanuman Chalisas, get to heaven. During the 100 Hanuman Chalisas, this is on. Is there water? When's the break? There's no heaven. While doing the charity, while doing the seva, so much irritation. But it's meant to be here, now. That action is meant to bring us to heaven now. So if I'm chanting beautifully or not so beautifully, and I'm not experiencing heaven, what thoughts are there that's stopping me? The gate that closes heaven for me is a thought. It's not a place. And that thought is mine. It's not someone else. You know, in that story of Gajendra Moksha, most of you all here are familiar, so I don't need to go into the story so much. But Gajendra is an elephant. He was cursed to be an elephant. In his previous life, he was a devotee. And so there was some vague memory of having devotion and the Lord and praying and the mantras. And he's a, what do they call it? A bull. In the elephants also, he was like the leader, the one that was guiding the tribe. And so a little bit proud, even as an elephant. You don't have to be human to be proud. Animals also have pride. Because he was so big and because he had so many, what are female elephants called? Them. All at his beckoning call. And he had, many chunnamunnus which he could take a claim of. So he had so much pride, even as an elephant, that he just carelessly walked into the river without looking. And there was a crocodile. And the crocodile caught hold of his foot. And crocodiles are very interesting creatures. They catch, but they can't bite. They have to let go to bite. Cool fact for you to know about crocodiles, if one ever catches you. So the crocodile had caught him, and he was in the grip of the crocodile, and to make sure that he could kill him, the crocodile was trying to drag him into the river to drown him. Then he would let go and then he would bite. That's the strategy of the crocodile. So the crocodile is dragging, but he's a pretty strong elephant, so he is resisting. But this is going to, fatigue. He is going to fatigue as the elephant because he's not in his domain, which is the water. And so in that moment, he takes a lotus flower that was there in the pond and he throws it into the air. Hey Bhagwan, Lord Vishnu. And the mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. Before he has said Na, before he reaches Narayana, before he reaches the Na, he has said the first Na, before he has reached the fourth syllable, the last Na, Bhagwan has already jumped on Garuda and is already there. Before he's even said Namaha. The story is so often told to make the point so clear to us that he's waiting. He didn't even finish. Bhagwan didn't even wait to finish. You didn't have to finish the name. Bhagwan's so eager to come. You thought of me, you want me, I'm here. Even before we finish saying the name, of course Narayana is a very long name. So much love Bhagwan has for us. In such a hurry Bhagwan is to come to us. Gates of heaven are open. Bhagwan's not keeping us out. In fact, He's anxious for us to come in. Yeah. The thing keeping us out is our thought. Just, I don't want to. This is so unfair. Why me? Two words. Two words can keep us out of heaven. Look how strong that thought is. And think about how strong that thought is, and think about you created it. You created something that is so strong, which means you are that strong. You are that powerful. You can create heaven and hell right here, right now. And we're creating it not just for us. When we create heaven, it's ripple effect. When we create hell, it's ripple effect. And when somebody else's heaven has ripple effect on us, we can block. Remember, we blocked our own heaven? We can block their hell. Because our thought is that strong. So, this very first verse that Sri Krishna says, in fact, I never thought about it, I don't think, at this much length before. Usually when we're teaching the Gita, we cover this verse fairly. I don't have face to call them, because they'll ask me, Swamini ji, did you Google it? This chutku 14-year-old will look at me like, why didn't you Google it? Why are you asking me to do it for you? They've taught me a lot. So I'll Google it now first before I ask them to do it for me. It will be something on the computer only. Change PDF into Word format. How to edit an audio of something. Zoom. How to mute people who are talking. And then now it's heaven because I'm not dependent. Before I wanted it done, I had to wait for them to come to the ashram to do it. Now I can do. If we're not doing, excuse. If we say I don't know how to, excuse. We can't say I don't know, and that's why I'm not being Aryan-like. Because we know. And what we don't know, we can so easily learn. So easily learn. Yeah. I had this young means he must be 26. It's young, no? He's an interesting person. He came to visit me in the ashram last week. He's not from an Indian background, but he has found great love in Hanumanji. And so he wanted to learn a Hanuman mantra. And so when he came to meet me, he already knew the Hanuman Chalisa, the Hanuman Gayatri mantra. He knew 3 other Hanuman Dhyana mantras, which I didn't know. And he knew the Nama Japas of Hanuman. And I said to him, so why are you here again? I want to learn the mantra. I said, I think you know more than me. And he said, no, I read on that article that unless the Guru gives it to you, the mantra is not powerful. Not of Hindu background. A 26-year-old. I'm sitting there looking at him thinking, this much sincerity? You're already there. Then he Googled who's in Hong Kong, all the temples, all the ashrams, and found that I'm in Hong Kong, in an ashram, qualify as guru. So came in person for me to say the mantra he already learned from YouTube, so that he is initiated. What excuse do we have? I was just sitting there feeling like Hanumanji himself has come to show me, like, don't think you're doing any great job here. Because look at this person. And we spoke a bit. There was some little, but it was beautiful satsang. We have I don't know is just the same as saying I don't want to. Really, I don't know is just saying I don't want to. In today's world. In today's world. Before, yes, really, when the first time I heard Puja Gurudev on that VHS cassette, and I didn't know who he was and I didn't know where to go find him, okay. I really didn't know who he was and where to find him. There was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no... just grace that he kept finding me. Even in today's world, this young boy that came, Hanumanji kept finding him. Even Hanumanji only brought him to the ashram, because we sing Chalisa all the time. Hong Kong ashram, we do it on a monthly basis. And he wanted to sing. So he came. Anarya, Asvargyam, Akirtinam. These are all the things don't be. Which means what's our path? Be Arya, noble, educated. Be befitting of heaven right now. And Akirti. Kirti means good name. So when somebody in a conversation says, your name, any name. Let's say, do you know Jayesh? And then response will be, nice guy. Or, yeah, I know him. Which reaction do we want? When people say, nice guy, lovely person, that's Kirti. People who know us, not that we are famous, right? Not that everybody should know me, but whoever knows me, when my name comes up, they should smile. They should be happy about knowing me. That's kirti. If my name comes up in conversation and the reaction is, oh God, that's akirti. The path that we choose should bring us kirti, which means it's a full-time job. How people are seeing us is who we are all the time. Even in Puja Gurudev's birthday song, we sing Janmadidam idam Aipriya Sakhe Shantanunute Sarvadamudam. I think it's the second line. Praptayamahe Bhavashatayushi Ishvara Sadat Vamchara Punya Karmana Kirti Marjaya. It's the third line. May you live a life doing punya and earning kirti. So beautifully Guruji has thought of the birthday song, huh? Like instead of saying happy birthday, this is the way to live your life. Live your life doing punya. Punya gives you heaven. So, swargyam. And how to get is that personality, in addition to our personality being kirti. May we earn kirti. It's something we have to earn. It's not something that we just get. And what they say about us, the way they describe us, when our name comes up in conversation, it can be talented, generous, very organized. Things that will be said very almost like this is your name, your claim to fame. This attribute. Always smiling. So friendly. What are they saying about us? And there's this lovely auntie that comes to the ashram in Hong Kong very often to do seva. And so she's grandmother generation. Then a lot of the youngsters come to the ashram, the teenagers and the 20 to 25-year-olds. So when they walk in, this is usually her dialogue. I know your mother. She knows me also. You tell her you met so-and-so. Then next kid will come in. Who are you? Why do I know your mother? Then make sure you tell her I met this. And I'll always look at her and be like, why? Why should they know you? No, they should know me. Is it enough? Know you for what? Just know you is no big deal. Know you for what? Is it kirti? So, when choosing, what should I do today? Tomorrow morning when you wake up, Monday morning, you're starting your week. What brings you kirti? What brings you heaven? What brings you nobility, culture? Choose these things. And how do we choose these things? By the thoughts we think. When whatever comes our way, come. There's this lovely bhajan that we sing. I don't know if y'all know it. Is it popular here in Jakarta? It's one of the mission popular songs. Very often we sing it in the youth camps. But now I'm not so good at singing, so please forgive me. And I'm not so good at Hindi also, so please forgive me. Mushkile aayenge, aane do. It sang with such joy. Mushkile aayenge, aane do. It's not even like, let it come. Not like we're going to do this. It's almost like, come on. What frame of mind, huh? When we know difficulties are going to come in our lives, we can brace ourselves and, okay, I'm ready. I can be like, okay, this too we can do. If this is what we have to do, so be it. Sagar mein tufan ne utne do. Let storms rise. Now here in Jakarta, y'all don't have so many typhoons. In Hong Kong, you should experience a typhoon. It's so cool. What am I doing? I'm outside in the typhoon. Very often, I'm outside in the typhoon. The wind is so forceful and goes in so many different directions, and literally, unfortunately, I'm very heavy, so it can't blow me. But somebody who's light literally can. They fly. Small children literally get blown away. Very dangerous. Don't go out in typhoon. But that's not what's being spoken about. Sagar mein tufan hai utne do. Which sagar? Samsar. And where's the samsar sagar? Our hearts. And don't storms rise in our hearts? So many storms rise in our hearts. 1 minute we're excited and we're passionate and we're going to do, in the next minute, oh, we're so angry. Every vein is popping out from everywhere. And then that tufan also. All our emotions stir so much. And if you think of that one thought, I don't want to. Is that not a tufan? Because how much turbulence it causes in our mind. So like this we get. And when we're kids, we tell the kid, do your homework. I don't want to. And you see the ferociousness, and it's just homework. Or eat your broccoli. I don't want to. Such ferociousness, such fierceness with I don't want to. And what has to be done is just everyday thing, isn't it? And it can last so long. In Balvihar camp, we made a rule: you can't get up from the table until everything on your plate was finished. We take them away for the weekend, for camp. This is the rule. You cannot throw food. If it's on your plate, you have to finish it. Don't put it on your plate, but if it's on your plate, you have to finish it. And we don't put it on their plates. So, there'll be kids, huh? Because at home they're used to throwing. And then it becomes stalemate. I'm staring at them, they're staring at me. They don't want to. I can't budge because Swamini cannot give in. Rules have to be followed. This is Balvihar camp. Sometimes they sit there for a full half an hour. Some poor sevika has to stand there. waiting for them to finish their broccoli. So much energy. And that whole time that kid will be like this. Fortunately, we as Sevikas, we know better. We just, playing games on the phone, waiting. When you finish, let's go. But if not, we also standing there like that, eat broccoli, and they also standing, no, I'm not going to. So much energy. So much irritation in our mind. Why? I don't want to. One thought. सागर में तूफान उठने दो, हम तो रुकना नहीं, हम तो झुकना नहीं. To what? Jukna means give in. To I don't want to. We are not going to give in to this I don't want to. Why? काम करेंगे हम प्रभु के लिए. Doesn't matter what I want and I don't want. What does he want? What should I do? What he wants. Why? Because that will take me to heaven. That will take me to Kirti. That's the path that I was born to walk. The path that I was born to walk is not what I want to do. The path that I was born to walk is what he wants me to do. Because we hear as reflections of his divinity. We are lights in his brilliance. We are smiles in his joy. We are not here as small entities fulfilling passing desires. We are here as divine beings to experience infinite bliss. Walk the path he chooses and drop I don't want to, which Arjuna did. Today, when we say who's the hero of the Mahabharata war, Arjuna. Arjuna is the hero of the Mahabharata war. Who is that glorious devotee that the Gita was taught to? Arjuna. So much love Krishna had for Arjuna that we want to be Arjuna. Arjuna dropped, I don't want to. Arjuna dropped, I can't. Arjuna dropped, I don't know. And so can we. We'll pause here for today. So like I said, we'll reflect on Gita verses only in a slightly different way. Actually, I chose 7 verses for today, but I should have known better. I talk a bit too much. It's okay, it's his Kirti I'm talking about. We have these talks for the next 3 days at 7 o'clock. I usually talk for about an hour and a little bit. And then I always open the floor if anybody wants to ask any questions. You're welcome. Maybe you're not used to asking questions. But I'll give you all a moment if anybody wants to ask any questions. And if you have questions from today that you want to ask tomorrow, you can write it on a paper and leave it here on the table. As you saw in my introduction, which J.R.G. beautifully did. I author children's books. I was mentioning to someone earlier today that in 2020, when COVID hit, I suddenly had a lot of time and I wrote 6 books in a matter of 3 months. And then the ashram in India told me, please stop. But one of the things I did was, there's a new trend in children's books where they now no longer narrate a story, they now use knowledge and they write it as a non-fictional book. So for my first non-fictional book for the children, I chose to explain Puja Gurudev's BMI chart. And the book is called Body Mind Connect, and Jakarta has stock of it. And also the later 3 Yash books. Yash Looked Inside is about us understanding that we have a mind more than just our physical body, and the connection is similar to BMI chart. Even though the Body Mind Connect applies more to Yash Looked Inside, they didn't allow me to call the BMI book. They said it wouldn't sell. So, then Yash and the Changing Parts is about how we can change our thoughts to change our moods. And Yash and the Cracked Pot is based on the Viveka Chudamani verse, where leak out the past and the future and be in the present. So all those books are available, which are a little bit more serious. But if you just want a nice story, there's lots of Krishna books, Ganesha books, and Shiva books. So please do have a look. If you're too old to read a kid's book, gift it to a kid that you know. Thank you all for your support. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamutachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
भक्तन हितकारे जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे
जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे
जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे भवानी नंदन सब दुख भंजन।
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 पूर्ण करता कारज सारे।
पूर्ण करता कारज सारे।
जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे। जय जय गणपति भक्तन हितकारे।